So HTML page starts with HTML tag, ends with HTML tag. This is Notepad++, so I'm not getting much help. Head tag, also in the top part, closing the head tag. And now you really would like to add some more, but this is already an HTML page. If I'm going to save this file, I'm going to go back here and I'm going to reload it. It's found, it's just empty. So that's the HTML page. And you should put the title there. So title tag, let's call it Hello World. And now first question of the day. Where is the title?
In the top.
In the top. Okay, good. So title is this small thing here, Hello World. It's not visible. We haven't added yet any element on the page, but you should have a title on the tab there. Otherwise, you know, these days, well, people have this kind of thing there. And if all of them say something that is not recognizable, then how do you find a specific tab in a collection? So think about that when you think about adding this title element. It doesn't really change at all what is inside the page, but it does enhance users' behavior. Okay. To really put it on the page, we need to enter the body section and buy a new keyboard and write it here. I could use, for example, the H1 tag for this. And now we have text in the page. Amazing. Now the head tag is also used for styling. So you may remember something called CSS. It goes in this kind of style tag. And I could, for example, change this. I could change the color, but maybe I want to change the font style, because this is, I guess this is Times New Roman, and it has these serifs here. Maybe it's not so nice, but I actually don't know how to do that. So,
Font family.
sorry?
Font family.
Okay, so I could have Googled it, but I have here help. Font family. Okay, so I'm gonna add.
Now I really hope it was correct.
Well, you will pay if it's not. Do you also know what to put in the font family?
I think it's in quotes Iris. No, Comic Sans.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So this is a good font, or what?
Definitely.
Well, it didn't work.
Oh, damn.
Let's see. So HTML set font family through CSS. I don't know. Maybe I'm using too many keywords, maybe too few keywords, but I can try the first link from here. Okay, I get some kind of documentation, some examples. They are quite useful. So this is now for Times New Roman. Font size, okay, other things, but the family was somewhere on the top here. Okay, how about the Comic Sans is not here, right? So maybe it has some specific way of being called, like this font family here has also some other properties. How about I try to look like Comic Sans HTML. Okay. Comic Sans, maybe Comic Sans MS is going to be sufficient here. Let's see how it works. So MS, is MS Microsoft?
Probably.
Is it copyrighted to use it? Or?
In my okay.
Okay, anyway, beautiful font, so let's use it. I love it. Of course, more CSS you can play with, like you can make the text go to center. If you want the title to be in the middle of the page, this is one thing that you can do. But we are here to try other stuff, right? We are here to work with the canvas. So this is the thing that we are going to work with all the time here. The canvas element in HTML. And ta-da! It's not there. Time to introduce developer console on the right. So in this course I'm going to use Google Chrome for development. You can use anything. All browsers have now this kind of developer console included, but I just know how to use this one better. So I'm going to work using this one, but you can use any one you want, any browser you want. Now, if I go here to the elements, I'm going to see my code. So this is one way of quicker to see more quickly the page structure of the code. And yeah, I see my title, I see my scripts there, and I see the canvas is there, but it is white on white, right? Okay. This page actually lets me modify properties of objects, of tags in the document, in the HTML document, already in the page. So for example, I could make this hello world text from here. I could make it color red, and I don't need to save the file, or I don't need to reload the page even. I can see these effects on the fly, and this is quite a nice way to have a speedy implementation practice. But I'm going to remove this. I don't want it to be red. Maybe I want the body to have a background color so that I see the canvas. Maybe I'm going to make it light gray, or oops. So the body, I'm going to add it a background. Okay, light. Okay, light blue, but where is the canvas? So if I go back, it's actually there. It's not white, it's transparent. So the canvas object, the canvas element, is a transparent part of the screen that will let us do something, but it's important to note that it's transparent. If I want it to be white, I should put it a background of white, and now I could see it. So I'm going to go back to this code, and I'm going to say, make the canvas should take my keyboard from upstairs. Okay, and make the body light blue. I think it looked okay. Okay, refresh the page, and now it looks like this. So you can see it updated these properties already in the code here. The head section has now the other styles added there. You can do many things in HTML and CSS. Yeah, I could still edit this a little more if I want. Like I could put a shadow behind the canvas, or a border around the canvas, or whatever. But I think we just focus with the canvas now. Now, painters, when they buy a new canvas, they choose a size. So we can choose a size. I'm going to work with the square canvas, 300 times 300. I load the page, and it's now a square canvas of 300 times 300. Okay, great, but when do we draw something? I don't even have a line here. So, draw line canvas HTML. I actually don't remember this. Really, it's a little bit embarrassing, but yeah. So this W3 Schools website, I have mentioned many times, it is very, very helpful because it was the first link in Google, I clicked it, and this is a line. And I want a line. I'm going to try to take this code from there, and here is where we introduce the script tag. So JavaScript, right? I'm going to paste the code here. I will have to give an ID to my canvas. So now my canvas is not referenceable. I don't know how to use it in JavaScript. Here it's in HTML. I can give it an ID. Let's say canvas. I don't give it another name. And now this code tries to read the canvas element, and then it's doing something here. We will figure out what it's doing. But let's save and see if it works. So I'm refreshing the page. It doesn't work, and we have an error. This console tag here tells you what error. Cannot read property get context of null. Wow, this is so easy. So the problem is this code actually executes before the canvas exists, before the canvas is defined. So it's trying to do something with something that doesn't exist. So good practice in HTML, when the content in the body loads, okay, then you should have a function. I'm going to call it here the main function because it's similar to what most people learn first when they program. I'm going to define a main function, and now I'm going to try to put the code in it. So doing this means that when everything here is loaded, this function calls, and now this should exist. Yes. Something is a little off here. I don't know if you can see it there, but it's a little pixelated, and this doesn't look like these coordinates here, do they? So this starts at 0, and it should go to 300 on the horizontal axis and 150 down on the vertical axis. So this is 0, 0 in the computer's mind. Okay. So in computers, the axes go down and to the right, not up and to the right, like what you get usually. But this line should have a different slope, isn't it? Yeah. So this is strange. The reason is more or less because these properties here, they define how tall or how the width and the height of the canvas, but not of this context, so-called context object. So this context object is actually the thing that enables you to draw. I will do something and hopefully it becomes clear. I'm going to take the canvas associated with the context, and I'm going to say the width is 300 and the height is 300. So I'm going to set the context the same properties that the canvas has. And I reload the page. So the problem before was that I was displaying this part of the image and it was even stretched. So that's why the slope was not there. It's a very technical thing, but more or less just do this all the time. Okay. Yeah, okay, great. So I have lines. Fantastic. Now how about something else, something more interesting? I think we still have time. Okay, lines are really, really good because if you can draw a line, I mean this was an empty canvas and now I put a line. If you can draw a line, everything is made of lines. Okay, a point is a very short line if you need points. But if you can draw a line, you can paint anything here. So it's like the sky is the limit. I already know everything. So now trigonometry time. A little bit of practice is how can I draw a circle using lines? Who knows how to draw a circle using lines? Nobody.
Midpoint algorithm?
Sorry?
Midpoint algorithm you use for drawing circles?
Midpoint algorithm.
Yeah, you just take 2 points and decide you draw the point above the line or below the line, and then you connect the dots.
Ah, okay. Okay, so you take 2 points and then you draw above the line or below the line.
Yeah, you have this sort of grade. You decide either you want to go up or down.
Something like that.
Yeah, in computer graphics you go.
Yeah, it's one way of doing, but I want to draw the circle, not the disk. So I don't want to fill it. Okay, a little bit of math here. I hope there is time for it. But okay, axes are here, and this is 0, 0, right? Okay, and now I want to draw this point. So if I'm going to consider this unit circle here, okay, this unit circle has a fixed radius. Usually equal to 1, that's why it's called a unit circle. But if you have a larger radius, then you can affect this a little bit. So this point, okay, has a 0 value on the y-axis, but maximum value on the x-axis. So now you may or may not remember sine and cosine of 0. How much is cosine of 0?
1.
Okay. How much is sine of 0?
0.
Okay. So this point here is actually this value from there. If I'm going to have another angle here, for example 60 degrees, okay, how much is sine of 60 degrees?
1 half 0.5.
Okay.
1 over 0. 0.5.
Okay. When you don't know, you calculate. How do you calculate? Like if you don't know and you're a programmer, if you want to remember something. I mean, you open the calculator app in the Windows or Linux or whatever, or you even try to write the functions in the code. But anyway, to finish here, I think we can talk about this more next time. But now I'm just going to tell you that this is how you draw the circle using the. Okay. I don't know if this is new software or whatever. Very, very slow. So let's see how complicated this is. So I'm going to make a function and I'm going to call it draw circle. Okay. I'm going to give it a parameter where to put the circle. Yeah, I'm gonna have it as a parameter. So, okay, maybe not. Maybe not. Let's just put the radius here as the parameter. So how big is the circle going to be? And now I'm going to go and copy this code because I don't know any better. When you begin to experiment with these different things, I remove this because it's not necessary anymore. I will move to, let's say, 0, 0. But now I want to do a sequence of lines, a sequence of very, very fine lines. Now this is going to be your homework task. You're going to check this code and try to understand why it will work, because we won't have time for it. But we will get into it very much for the next time. So I'm gonna be fast. Don't worry if you don't catch all of it, but let's see how it goes. So the unit circle starts at 0 degrees, okay? It goes until pi times 2. Okay, so pi times 2 means 360 degrees in radius. So I'm going to do a full circle. And my increment is going to be very small, okay? Pi times 2 is 6.28. So I'm going to have to go really small, let's say 0.1. And now for each of these, I'm going to get an x value where to be the where the point on the circle is, and this is going to be cosine of the angle I, and I'm going to have to scale it, because if I don't scale it using the value of the radius, it's just going to be between 0 and 1, so I'm drawing 1 pixel. I scale this by the radius, which is the parameter of the function. And I'm going to do exactly the same for y, with sine instead. And I want to draw lines all the time for each of these new points that are coming down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a line to each of these new locations as they are calculated. And then I'm going to do the stroke. Now, in our main function, I'm going to call draw circle. Let's give it a radius of 100. And something happens here. It's magic. Okay, this is why you may need trigonometry. Now, don't laugh yet if you know a little bit about the canvas, but yeah, okay. So what we mentioned before is you want to put the origin maybe somewhere else. So we could put the origin somewhere else if we add to this x 100, because that's what our radius, that's how our radius is. So what I do here, 100 plus 100 plus, it means I'm going to translate this 100 to the right and 100 to down. I refresh the page, and now my circle goes like, hey. That's not what I want. Well, why is this circle not full, complete? So it needs another line 2 at the end, back to well, not to 0, 0, but yeah. Okay. You will figure out why this works when I, for next time. I'm going to put a +1 there. And now it's nice, but I'm going to tell you the truth. Now it drew this circle like that, and then it went a little bit more until here. So this side of the line here is actually
Twice, yeah.
twice. So if I'm going to put here, instead of math pi times 2 times 20, then this circle is going to get a little bit thicker because it's actually drawn 20 times. It's very, very interesting. But that would happen even if you draw on the paper canvas. Okay. Now, before we end, because we still have some time. That time is not good. We have 7 minutes left. Okay. Before the good guys who know some programming here tell me that, hey, Canvas HTML has a draw circle function. It's actually called arc. Okay. So I could have written this instead, and I'm going to try to do it. So this is going to draw a circle, and stay with me here, at coordinate 100 horizontal, 75 vertical, a radius of 50 from 0 degrees to maximum degrees. You can get this information if you read the documentations and these things here. So everything is written. It's accessible. It's just a matter of studying things and getting familiar with them. So I'm going to go back here, refresh the page, and nothing happens. Oh yeah, I think I may have to do the stroke again. Yes, okay. So another circle without the complications, very easy. Why did I make the other circle if I knew that I can make a circle easier? And the question, the answer is that this is not really a circle, what I drew before. It's a polygon. It's a regular polygon with many, many, many sides. So actually this function is a lie. It should be called draw polygon. I'm going to call it here draw polygon. And how quickly I increment this is going to dictate to me the number of sides that I am drawing. So if I'm going to increment it with, now we should increment it actually with a value proportional to pi, if we want it to close exactly. Now that trick of drawing it again and again and again, you know that something is wrong there. It's something you can do, but in computer science you want to be precise. So here, if I increment this with a value that is, well, proportional to pi, let's say pi divided by 4, and I'm going to save this, and I refresh the page, our initial circle looks like a octagon. Okay? So bear with me here, but this is something that we will explain much more in the lesson that is going to be on this canvas topic. Meanwhile, you can play a little bit about this, but it's important to play like this, like what I'm doing. Try to do different things and see what are the relationships. So now it's an octagon because of this pi divided by 4 there. If I'm going to put here pi divided by 2, what am I going to get?
Square.
Square. Very good. Now, trick question. How will it be oriented? Like a rhombus kind of thing.
Like a rhombus.
Okay, so let's see. Okay, so some guys here are very good with functions. Okay, and of course, if I will add here pi divided by 20 and I refresh, I'm going to get almost as nice circle as before. You can actually see a little bit of jagged edges. But yeah, and you can even have some kind of parameter here. Parameters are really important, okay? All of these values here, 100, 20, hard-coded variables, bad. No hard-coded variables. No hard-coded, never. So try to avoid. This can be, for example, size. Okay? Parameter here, size. Maybe. Okay. Actually, I'm going to hack it a little bit because you remember that 4 was 8, 2 is 4. I'm going to divide it by 2 here. So again, not a serious code, not a very serious code, but it's going to work. And now I'm going to say, draw me a polygon with 4 sides. Draw me a polygon with 8 sides. I'm going to refresh the page, and I have 2 polygons, an octagon and a square. It's a square, it's not a rhombus. Rhombus should be skewed, but we are just so familiar to look at the square like that we would say this is a rhombus, whatever. So I actually tricked you. I didn't implement a circle drawing function. I implemented something that, well, this looks kind of interesting. I mean, maybe you can use it for something.